Hi, this is Dave, and I'm going to do a website review of Cameron Music. Here's the criteria for the review. We're looking at it. We're going to look at your website to see if it passed the 5-second test. I'll talk about that in a minute. You're above the fold design, your navigation, your main menus, use of photos, below the fold design, your landing pages, and then your contact form. That's the criteria, and we're going to look at 4 different websites. One is Cameron Music. The other one is also a music studio, another music studio, and then we're going to go outside the industry. Here, I'm going to move them over. This is a non-music studio, but they're a service-related business, and it's always good to go outside of our industry, see what's going on in other service-related industries in terms of design and messaging. Okay, first thing we're going to look at is, can your website pass the 5-second test? 5 seconds is second test is this idea that people within 5 seconds can land on your website and identify, what is this? What's in it for me, the website visitor, and what should I click on? So you need to identify what your service is, how the customer is going to benefit from it, and then what I should click on. So I'm going to go through each website silently and then comment on how they do with the 5-second test. So here we go. Cameron Music. What is this? What's in it for me? And what should I click on? What is this? What's in it for me? And what should I click on? And perfectly placed, we go outside the industry. And last but not least, STL Rock School. All right, so let's work backwards. What is this? They teach music and they teach bands. What's in it for me? They're going to make my kid feel good about themselves. There's a little kind of clever comment there, but it's going to make my kid feel cool, going to make them feel good about themselves. And what should I click on right here? There's a call to action button to get started. So that's clearly what they want me to click on. Perfectly placed. What do? They organize your stuff. I mean, talk about very direct language. That's what they do. What's in it for me? They're going to make my life easier. So they're selling me convenience. And what do they want me to click on? This right here. Get organized now. Footprints Music. What do? Music lessons. What's in it for me? It's going to make my kid feel confident. So similar to, STL Rock School, but worded differently. And what do they want me to click on? The Start Today button now. Also, let me point out, all these websites are designed by different people. So Cameron Music. What is this? It's not, there's not a headline declaring that. I'm going to have to look around for it. And as I look around, I am seeing that information, but there's not a headline with that. And what's in it for me? It's not being stated. And what do they want me to click on? It's not clear to me. I'm going to have to kind of guess, what they want me to click on. So at this point, Cameron Music needs to work on passing the 5-second test. Ideally there's a headline, big headline. Look at that, big headline. Big headline. No, not so big, but big enough. And big headline there. This is what we are. This is what's in it for you. This is the benefit we're going to provide, and here's what we want you to click on. So let's look at the design above the fold. We're going to talk about the triangle pattern. Main headline, which covered a little bit, call to action, placement and message, logo placement, and featured image. Does your featured image show your customer having a peak moment? And how does that image tie in with your core message? So let's work backwards. What's the triangle pattern? Logo on the left, call to action on the right, call to action at the bottom in the center. These 3 points create a triangle. Perfectly placed. Logo on the left, call to action up in the upper right, another call to action button, kind of the prominent one here in the center, the bottom. These 3 points create a triangle. Footprints Music. Logo on the left, 2 call to actions up there on the right. Another call to action creates a triangle. Cameron Music. Logo to the left, but look at all this kind of empty space here. No call to action here on the right. no call to action, so there's no triangle here. Just from looking at this looks like this was an older website built on a platform. Also, you have a copyright of 2015. If you're going to have a copyright, make sure you update it every year. So this tells the viewer, it also tells Google that this is an old website and it isn't being updated on a regular basis. Even if it is being updated, this detail is being overlooked. So you definitely want to, let's just look. If you're going to have a copyright, make it current. No copyright, that's fine. Let's see if she's got a copyright. No. And there's no rule. You don't have to have a copyright. And if you do have one, that's fine. It gives you that peace of mind that you've got one, but make it current. And if this copy here was truly written 5 years ago, that's already dated. If it was written last year or this year, you want to have that copyright current. So let's move on. Your main headline. Your main headline should state what you do and the outcome you're going to have on the customer's life. People don't care about instruments. They don't care about music lessons. What they care about is what impact is playing an instrument or learning how to play going to have on them. And great example, Footprints Music. This is what we do, and this is the impact. This is the benefit. Let's look at your call to action button should be, we talked about the placement, but the message should be an action oriented. The language should be action oriented, hence the name call to action. So what do these guys say? They say, get started. There's no sense of urgency there. They're not saying now or today, but these guys do. They say get organized when, right now. A little sense of urgency. Sense of urgency, start today. Notice how all these call to action buttons really pop out. They're their own color. You can't miss them. Okay, no call to action at this point. Big problem. Maybe you're doing a great business without it, but your business will do even better with these different ideas put into play. So yeah, you got a contact here, but that's just up there with all the other stuff here. All right, so let's look at featured image should have a customer having a peak moment, and it should tie in with their message. They're saying, hey, we're going to make your kid feel cool. Oh, do these kids look cool? They look cool. Not a great photo. You got 3 kids here. Everyone's looking at their instruments. It's an effective photo. It'd be nice if the kids were looking up at and you could see them smiling. This guy looks like pretty cool. He looks like he's in the moment there. And these kids look older, teenagers. So if this is really the average age of the school and they're trying to target teenagers, then this picture really is working. This is about making your life easier by having an organized home, a decluttered home. Look, here's mom being appreciated by her daughter. She's having, because of, the lack of clutter in her house, she's able to really just relax and enjoy this moment. So great job of the photo working well with the promise that the brand is making. Also, this is a subtle thing, but notice how the faces and their eye, the what's it called? What do you say? Like where your eyes are looking. There's a word for it. Can't think of it, but they're looking. It almost looks like line of vision. That's it. Is the call to action is in their line of vision. They're both of their heads are positioned and their eyesight is kind of directing you to that. So that's subtle, but that's a very cool thing. Here, not get started, but start today, right now. And these kids look confident, and it's one image. So one issue here, and this is a challenge you will forever have with your business. Any retailer that also provides a service mixed in with it has this challenge. I'm looking to see if you have repairs. That would be another challenge you have. But you're showing pictures, so you've got a slideshow. Slideshows really are a thing of the past. They're very 2015. But studies have shown that slideshows don't really, they not only do they not benefit you, they distract or they take away from the viewer or the website visitor. That studies have shown that when someone is looking at an image and then it moves like that they tend to move away from it. And that's probably like billboards on the highway, the digital ones that change, they're cheaper than a permanent one. There's some obvious reasons, but also they're not as effective as the permanent stagnant image. So you don't have a brand promise that's being broadcasted here yet. And so there's no way for your image to tie in with that. Now you've got an interesting, I've got another licensee that's similar to you. They're out of Illinois. They're working on their website. Let's see what they're doing. But yeah, their challenges. They're trying to, the lessons are kind of just tucked away. It's not a featured thing. So if the bulk of your business is retail, then you got to lead with retail. And you got to make a statement here. Like these guys aren't making a statement either. And they got the slideshow. But some statement about who you are, what you do, even if you said music instruments or instruments and lessons that, boom. And then some brand promise, some statement of transformation that are going to allow you to be the person you always dreamt of being. I'm just thinking out loud. I mean, that's not a good one, but that's the idea behind it, is talking about some transformation. There's no emotional impact in photographs of instruments unless you're a music nerd like me. And when I see photos of instruments, I get excited. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. You've got to, who's your ideal customer? If it's mom, if mom's your customer, then show pictures of kids having a peak moment. If your ideal customer is a musician, then show a musician playing the instrument. Also, these photos look like they were taken. These don't look like high resolution photos, like they were taken on a smartphone, and that one's out of focus. Encourage you to bring in a pro to come in, spend $300 and take some photos. In the meantime, fine. Do I'd put that on a wish list, but just get some in-focus, high-resolution photos. You can't achieve that on your on a smartphone. All right, so let's move on. Navigation should be simple and minimal. Let's take a look. Lessons, Rock Band Camp, current students. About a little bit long for my taste. I think if they just said programs, camp, current students, and about, they'd cover it. Let's see what that about is. Okay. Good. Look at this one. Only 2 menu items. They've got, 4 or 5? Pretty lean here. Yours isn't bad. Just looking at it, I know what About Us is. I'm not sure what print music is. I know that's also the name of a product. So maybe it means sheet music. I'm not clear. It's not clear to me. So when things aren't clear and aren't obvious, people will move on. Instruments. I assume that has to do with instruments that I'm going to buy. So great. Lessons. I got it. No drop down here, though. So I'm not clear as to what instrument lessons you offer. Location, this is not the place for it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Contact, you don't need that. Reverb, I don't know what that is. I mean, I know it's an effect, but I don't really know what that is. I'm looking to buy a guitar. I'm looking to sign my kid up for lessons. There's nothing. I got to click reverb just to see what it is. But not clear as to why reverb is there. And as I look at it and I glance it, it's still not clear to me. And if it's not clear to me, I'm going to bounce off the page. People glance at pages. They don't read it. You want to make things just so obvious to them. Okay, so let's move onward. So navigation isn't as simple and minimal as I'd like it to be. Let's look at your lessons. Let's just see what that is. My hunch is we're going to see a list here of the different lessons that you have to offer. Okay, so here we go. Private lessons, instructors, and it's a lot of stuff about the instructors. I still don't really know what you teach. I know it's not clear to me what instruments there are. So ideally, you would have under lessons guitar, drums, the different things that you teach, and then each one have its own page. So let's take a look here. They don't have a drop down. So what are they doing here? Okay. So they have it laid out like this. So this is where they're going to have, their main things. Now look, their challenges they offer lessons and band and camp. So they're having a lesson page. Let's see what these guys do. Lessons. They've got a drop down, and I bet each instrument has its own page with a featured image. There it is. And minimal text. That's really nice. Okay, let's move onward. So these are I covered a lot of it of this, but these are some menu options that really work. My big question is, how big is this retail component to you? Let's take a look at just how big this is. I got the hunch that it's a big, yeah. I mean, looking at these pictures, you got walls with inventory displayed. So you gotta, you're heavy retail. You gotta focus on that. It's how do you bring in that lesson component, and how can your brand, instruments and lessons. You got to get that in that headline. I think a big question to ask yourself is, who's your ideal customer? Are the people buying these instruments, are these serious players? Or are these moms buying saxophones and violins because the kids in school orchestra? If that's the case, then your target audience is mom. Mom doesn't care about these brands. She cares really about the impact it's going to have. Mom, if anything, doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a saxophone. You got a serious, 23-year-old saxophonist who's, that's another thing. So then you need to speak to them. So be curious to learn a little bit more about your business and sort of, who's your ideal customer. If it's the serious musician and the mom who's trying to shop for music lessons, you've got a marketing challenge. You can overcome it. I would ask yourself, where is a majority of your business coming from? If a majority is through instrument sales, then you got to go big on that. If a majority is through lessons, then you got to go big with that. And if it's more of a split, you got to show that balance. Let's look at, so I talked a little bit about photos already. It says, what story does it tell? What do I mean by that? Well, this tells a story here. This shows the customer having a win, having a peak moment, and maybe the fact that she needed this service implies that at some point her life was chaotic and her kitchen was chaotic and it wasn't orderly, and she wouldn't be able to kind of just have a quiet moment like this with her daughter, that she'd be stressed out in her kitchen. So that's the story that it tells. What story does this tell? This shows, hold on here. This shows young kids kind of who maybe weren't so cool or were just regular kids are now feeling like rock stars in this moment as they're on stage. Similar to Footprints music. All right, let's look at you're below the fold design. Is it clear and simple? Are there consistent and symmetric patterns? Does the call to action, does it reoccur? We're going to look at your footer, your contact info, and social media icons and map. The footer is where you want to have that contact info, as opposed to sitting it up there It's fine to maybe put to have that under About Us, but you want to be very, when you want to remain minimal, especially with your business where you've got retail and a service, man, you want to only have the bare bones main menu items there. For those of you that want to buy something, go here. For those of you that are looking for a service, go here. So let's take a look. Let's work our way backwards. Let's go and get rid of these guys here. Let's look below the fold. So what do we see here? We see a very short description. I'm going to read the first sentence, which is the lead. The lead sentence really needs to pull the reader in. Do you want a life-changing experience? There's no reason for music to be dull and boring. Okay, that's great. It's a great lead. Coming out with the question. You want a life-changing experience? Yes, will be the answer. If you're going to ask a question, you better know what the answer is. Of course you do. What they're saying is if you keep reading, we're going to lead you towards a life-changing experience. Well, they better deliver then. But that's a statement of confidence, too. These are called trust icons. These are reputable organizations that have recognized them. You might not, the Wall Street Journal, but you don't know these other ones. It doesn't matter. Probably a reason that Wall Street Journal's all the way there on the left. We got some video here. So we're getting this nice, each kind of, as we scroll, each frame has its own theme. We're getting the programs here, but simplified by ages. That's great. Learn more. I prefer that it say get started, but because it has action, there's public proof, testimonials, and then finally it gets started. So yes, in terms of it's symmetric and it's a clean layout, but there are not recurring call to actions. There's just one again here at the bottom, and then here you've got a map. So there's contact info, and there's contact info there. No social media icons. That's fine that there aren't. When you drop a social media icon, you're inviting people to leave your website. Let's take a look here. Short paragraph. Let's read the first sentence only. When you have too much stuff, the clutter not only fills up your home, it fills up your life and keeps you from the things you love. Wow, that's really great. So they're coming out on a pain point. And clearly, they're going to offer a solution to the clutter and the frustration and the stress. And now we're getting public proof, testimonials. Nothing connects with customers like testimonials. It's proof, that this works. And then, call to actions popping in there. I'm just kind of looking. More call to action, more social proof. Just like that other website, trust icons showing these are reputable organizations. I don't know who they all are. I know some of them, but they look like real organizations. Clearly, this company is doing something right. Another call to action, social media icons, and then there's the footer with contact info and more social media icons. So really good. Let's look at these guys. Let's look at the coming right out on text. Very short, like everybody else. Playing an instrument just makes you feel better. Great. All right, I can align with that. They're kind of promising we're going to help your kid feel better about themselves. Here we got testimonial, social proof. Here's our different programming options. A little cluttered now, all this stuff here. Oh, look, Kids Rock. But I can get a sense, like campfire guitar, how's that different than guitar? I don't know. Can't I'd recommend that they just have guitar in there. And now all this stuff here, I'm confused. Lots of just too many options, too much on the menu. But look at this call to action. Begin the journey of music lessons for your child. Change their life forever. Wow, that's a bold statement. But I'd stand by that. I know firsthand that music can change people's lives. Phone name, phone number, and email. And then there's their footer with all their contact stuff. Okay, so let's scroll down. Let's go to make sure I'm on the home page. And there's some sales copy there. It says learn, practice, listen. Wait, learn, practice, listen to, enjoy everything musical at one of the Motor City's greatest music hubs. We are Metro Detroit's source for new and used instruments. Okay, so this was a little confusing to me. I stumbled on it. I wasn't clear what that meant. If people stumble and it's not clear, they're going to bounce off of it. They're going to leave, or they'll just scroll. Let me try it again. Learn, practice, listen to, and enjoy everything musical at one of Motor City's great music hubs. You might understand what that means, but I don't. And I'm going to have to think, and then I'll decode it and I'll figure it out. But you want it to be really clear. There's there's no emotional content in there. Learn, practice, listen to, and enjoy everything musical at one. I'm going to read on. We are Metro Detroit source for new and used instruments for sale and rent. The largest print music department. Now I know what print music is. Accessories. Our skilled staff helps beginners and experts choose and maintain instruments with a diverse, affordable selection. Our educators shape new. So this right here is your strongest statement, and that's your lead, and you're bearing your lead. We help beginners and experts choose and maintain instruments. I like what you're going for, but a lot of just stuff coming out at you. Also in your sales copy, a lot of it is focused. It's not bad, but you focus a lot on you and your quality as opposed to the customer. So for example, we're one of the city's great hubs. It's not too product centric. Our educators shape. Yeah, my issue with this is that these are all the things that you would expect from a retailer. So if you can come out and focus, you're saying, hey, this is what we do. This is what we offer. Well, you've kind of already said that up here. Can you talk about the impact that you're going to have on a kid's or a person's life? That's the challenge, is coming out like these guys are doing. Do you want a life-changing experience? There's no reason for music to be dull and boring. SL Roxon will make you and your child fall in love with music all over again. So they're talking about the personal. It's personal and it's emotional and it's all about you, the customer. Now they shift gears and say, and this is what we do. And then look at this. Make playing an instrument fun and easy, building confidence in your family's superstar. Interesting. Not child's, but your family's. That's an interesting approach. St. Louis's locally owned music school will give you the confidence you need to succeed in both music and life. All right, that's great. So I like that your copy's short. It's just a little confusing. It's more focus on the features of your business as opposed to the benefits. So nice symmetric layout here. Really, finally, we get a call to action. Get in touch with us. But there's no action there. That's just saying, hey, let's talk. You want an action-oriented call to action. You want it sitting right there and it occurring multiple times in your homepage. I think it's fine that your homepage is short. I encourage you to continue on with that theme. All right, landing pages should be set up like home pages. It should look and feel like a home page with an above the fold, a call to action, customer-centric sales copy, and then another call to action. So let's take a look. Let's go to one of their homepages. We'll go to their Kids Rock page. All right, it looks like the homepage of a website. Someone Googles music class for young children, it's going to take them here. It's not going to take them to their homepage. And sure enough, there's no headline. They should have a headline. There should be a call to action. There's not. There's a call to action. All right, not bad. Is your child interested in music, but they're not ready to commit yet to an instrument? Great. So they're coming right out, addressing a problem. And there's a call to action, minimal text, some videos, boom, they're done with their page. A little pop-up. Let's look really quick at these guys. Landing page looks like a home page. There's a headline. We unpack your stuff and make moving easier. All right, similar to the main promise, but now they're getting a little more specific. And they're minimal sales. So much for minimal sales copy. No call to action. Well, a little bit of one here. Now there's another one. Social proof. So good. The sales copy is longer. It doesn't have to be. Most people aren't going to read all that. They probably have all that in there to boost their SEO. If this were my website, I'd keep it as is, but I'd put a call to action button right in here and then have that text beneath it. Kind of like, I'm going to assume these guys do that. Let's go to their piano class. Yeah. Minimal text, call to action. Great. All right, let's look at contact form. Your contact form should just have nothing more than name, phone number, and email. Let's look at your contact form. I'm hoping you have a contact form. Let's see. No contact form. Email. Problem with that is now they have to copy it. They have to paste it. What am I going to say? They're going to call. When they call, there's going to be a lot of noise in the background, chaos. If you could have a form like this, name, email, phone number, that's all you need to begin the sales process. Let's see what these guys, when they have get started, contact us today. I think theirs was, I'm sure they're all going to the same place. Well, there's their contact. Here, let's look. I want to look really quick. When I go to their Get Organized Now. Get Organized Now. I bet you it's going to take me to that same page. Let's see. Yeah. It's just name, email, and a message. Let's look at these guys. Yeah, name, email, message. So you need a contact form. People are used to filling those out now. People don't want to have to call. They want it, some people do. Older people my age, I'm in my 50s. People like me will call. Younger people, they're going to want to fill out that simple form and be done with it. Okay, so that concludes the your website review. Hope you find it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.